Hello there guys, welcome to Mind and Mead. This is the podcast channel that we will discuss controversial topics and anything that piques our interest. Today, what we are going to be doing is tasting a couple of the meads that I and a friend of mine, Patrick, have been home brewing ourselves. This is a journey that I started and is a journey that I intend to continue to try and effectively make a hell of a lot cheaper alcohol. So please enjoy the next episode, and please look at all of the descriptions and for all of our links. Thank you. Alright, so right now what we're going to do is we are going to try out a clementine mead that we made.
This has been probably about it was last summer, so we're looking towards the end of it when it was sort of August time.
It's coming up to about a year. It will be.
Yeah, fucking August you can.
Yeah, it's March right now. It's coming up to. You know how vague that is. It's like when I say just now.
Yeah, I know, because you're dirty.
Okay, so we're just going to taste this, see what it tastes like. It's been sat in the fridge for a bit. It's had time to age a little bit. It's not bad.
Yeah, I'd have that with chicken. I think that's quite alright.
It's a semi. If for all the wine drinkers out there, it's kind of like a semi-dry. It's not. It's got a bit of sweetness to it, but it's not like a dry white. It's got a bit of a kick.
Like Chardonnay.
It's got a bit of a kick there. It sits, but it doesn't linger that well. But it's definitely drinkable. Yeah, no. Definitely drinkable. That's the thing as well. It's very easy. I would, for me, a little bit more honey. I wouldn't add too much to that.
Well, I do actually have a bottle in the.
I think that there.
Storage,
I think that one would be probably just right. Just right, because it doesn't need much. It's still got a bit of a sweetness to it.
We talked about this. Now we know that the yeast that you had, that you've taken advice on.
Yeah,
is better, and obviously we can go down that road.
But no, that was. It's nice. That will age out thatness, but that bitterness that it's got there, the dryness that it has, will still be there. A little bit back. It's definitely drinkable. A little bit back sweetening will, I think.
It didn't smell that bad either, even though we're using that other yeast, which is.
Yeah, that was the super wines. Yeah, those super wines yeast. Yeah. So it's very strong. It comes out very dry.
Well, it's meant for champagne. So you get a decent percentage, but you're not getting the sugars coming out of the
So now I've got this is the red berries.
No, this was your mixed fruits.
So kiwi, red berries, apple, blackcurrant, all that sort of stuff. Now,
you did mix a bit of cordial in this.
Yeah, because
dominated it.
Yeah, I added a little bit too much when we first brewed it, but
I still thought it was over-dominated it.
It's still there. It's not as strong as what it was.
Yeah, it fucking is.
Yeah, it's definitely there in the taste. I think the only way to sort of get that away is maybe to add some honey, but it may run the risk of over sweetening it. But it tastes like drinking.
I'm not being funny, mate, but I'd rather pour that down the fucking sink.
No, I like it. It's very much a.
It's like drinking just pure cordial. It's not nice.
It's an alcoholic juice.
Yeah, I know, but add water to it because it just.
No, but you could do if you really want to. It is a bit strong. I'll give it that. Hopefully, over time the other ones will sort itself out. But I think maybe back sweetening it with a bit of honey just to thicken up the viscosity. That will probably dial that down a little bit, maybe. I don't know. But no, I definitely did add a little bit too much into that.
Yeah, I think you overdid it. That one.
But it's still drinkable. If you like your sweet tooth and you like sweeter drinks, it's kind of almost like a dessert. Almost.
That's the problem.
No, it's overpowered with the apple and blackcurrant.
Well, no, because you have pomegranate in there.
Yeah, but the apple and blackcurrant is overpowered.
A nice dry flavour. There's no dryness. I think that cordial was literally just. We've learnt our lesson from this.
Yeah, no, I can't drink all of it, but.
Do you remember we did a strawberry and lime one.
Yeah.
And we used the lime that you get for pancakes.
That just did not go the way it was supposed to.
It dominated, and I'll say this for anybody who's a mead maker, things like that. Don't use processed flavours.
Yeah, we learnt out the hard way on that one. We thought that we could try and cut a corner, just to try and save some money, because this is an expensive hobby that can get turned into a business. It is very expensive right now. So we were trying to figure out ways that we could get flavours in there without breaking the bank so much. Will we do it again?
We're hoping that if we can get our podcast with all the sort of offensive shit we talk about up and running.
No, but this is the thing.
That we would use whatever we make from this. This would fund our Mead expedition.
Well, this is the thing.
We want to make more. We want to become something.
Well, this is the thing. Is that the moment I eventually do move and I get out of rented accommodation, I will be getting a hive. I will have a place to put a hive. That's not going to be an issue. And I'll be getting one of those flow hives. That's what we want. It's easy. It's less work. But it's still going to be a lot of a learning curve in that regard, so we can save money on honey at least,
well, honey's the most expensive thing.
Yeah, or at least have a reduced cost, because there's still going to be costs involved when it comes to having the honey with upkeep of the bees and all that stuff.
Yeah, fucking sting me, I'm gonna kill one of them.
So yeah,
them, you hurt me, I hurt them.
The whole idea of doing this is so that we can have it as organic as possible with as flavour as possible, as much flavour.
On an environmental note, we don't just want to stop at one hive. We actually want multiple.
Yeah.
Not just for us, so maybe we'll sell some of it, but more than anything else, I want to up the level of bees.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing, is that if I can get more hives and get healthy colonies going, and then great.
When they disappear, we're dead in 4 years.
Oh yeah, we're fucked. So yeah, keeping the bees alive is going to be something that is going to be looking forward to. It's just expensive.
I think the most expensive things are we buying them suits as well.
Well, no, not really.
I'm not going into it with a hoodie and a cap, mate.
No, but the suits aren't that expensive. They're like 30-40 quid. They're not expensive. It's the hive that's some money. But don't get me wrong. I know it's a bit of a weird one, but the flow hive, a lot of people say it's not real beekeeping and all that bullshit. But I think it's a nice way to get into beekeeping without having to buy too much extra. Yeah, no, but then you get like the traditionalists who like, oh, you need to take this out, get the frame out, get the wax, all that stuff. There's a big process to it. Don't get me wrong. I would love to gain the honey wax and the bee wax and all that stuff, but that's more equipment. I don't have the money for.
Over time.
Yeah, but I think a flow hive.
Realistic.
I think the flow hive. If anybody looks on YouTube, you look at how it acts and how it functions.
It still leaves them with enough honey they can live themselves.
It's a really good way of getting honey and getting into looking after bees without being overly expensive. Don't get me wrong. You can probably You can probably get a beehive that doesn't cost £600. If you go the traditional route for the boxes, but then you really have to have the smoker, the gear. You then have to have the way to extract the honey. You have to, all these things. Whereas
that's realisticness.
Whereas I think starting at the flow hive, it's going to be. I'm trying to say flow hive enough, so
I spoke about this with my friend, but one of the things I would like to do is I'd like to have the honey that we can use to produce what we want to produce. But I'm not aiming to sell our honey at extortionate prices.
No.
I want to bring down the price of honey.
But the thing is that the flow hive, if we can get hold of one, and we will do, on average per harvest, because it's roughly 6 frames or 7 frames, on the 7 frames that they've estimated, you roughly get about 28 kilos worth of honey if they're all full. Yeah.
Yeah, we could easily make.
Yeah. Now,
decent
depending on the health of the hive, and there's lots of variables in that, you can average between 2 to 3 harvests with allowing the bees to have enough honey to survive the winter. Now, that is a lot of honey that can be produced. Now, you get a couple flow hives, it makes work a little bit easier. Yeah, you don't get the beeswax, but you can always do like a hybrid system that they do have as well, where you can have a couple of the flow hives and then just natural ones where you collect the wax. You then have to then do the more traditional route in that regards.
Honey, you looked into this a lot more than me.
Maybe
educate some people.
What's
the difference for the beeswax as well?
Again, I'm not the most educated person out there. There's definitely going to be a lot of resources out there that will give more information than what I will do.
But throughout what you know so far, this is about a beginner's group.
So from what I've learned
home brewers
is one, honey's expensive, and for making mead, you need honey. It is the primary ingredient for making a mead. Now, if you have the time to make and get a hive of your own, you can then cut the cost down quite drastically. Wax, you can use it for all sorts of other things. What those are right now, I can't think off the top of my head because I wasn't anticipating on talking about it properly. However, with the flow hive, you can do both if you so choose. It has the options for it, and I think that is a nice, easy way. It's a bit pricey up front. We're looking, for us in the UK, we're looking about £600 to £700 for one hive. That's
keeps going up.
That's not including getting the queen and a starter on one that way. So we're probably looking, depending on how we want to do it to get everything going, we're probably looking about £800 to £900.
And also, if you're some of these people that are making these hives and stuff like that, and that sort of side of things, my question is, why do you charge so much? Considering we know we need bees to survive.
It's all a money making thing. But what I'm gonna have to do is we're gonna have to leave it and move on. All right, so it will be. So this has been Mind and Mead. We've just tasted 2 of our batches. It's been a pleasure speaking to each other, and hopefully that people are listening in. If you are, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, and YouTube. All right. We will have the links posted below. Click on the one that tickles your fancy. My name's been Sebastian.
And his name's been Sebastian.
And his name's been Patrick. He's been a cunt. And
no, I'm just copying the 2 runnies.
we will catch you later. Cheers. Take care.